Hi, this is Anjum Katyal. I write on theatre. I've been editor of Seagull Theatre Quarterly, and I'm also an editor and a translator. And that's by way of a brief introduction. Usha Ganguly. When I met Usha Di, I was editing the Seagull Theatre Quarterly, and we were going to do an extensive piece on Rodali, which was her new production at that time. And I spent quite a lot of time with her then, interviewing her, speaking to her, also working on the translation of Rodali, which we later published. And over the years, the relationship continued as two people who were interested in theatre living in the same space in Kolkata. And we would meet and discuss. And when she was beginning her new space, the Binodini Kea space, I remember going to see it with her. She asked me to come when it was just a shell, and she was so excited and full of her plans of creating a little hub for theatre people to come and use, where they could practice, they could rehearse, they could do small productions. And the thing I remember vividly about Ushadi is this um, air of passionate involvement, engagement, and 100% giving uh, to theatre that she always had with her. Whenever one met, whether she was acting in a play, and she was a very powerful actor, whether she was overseeing a production of her own, whether we met on the sidelines, whether it was a meeting set up specifically to discuss something, there was this sense that her whole life was charged with her commitment to theatre. And that is something that I feel was a real contribution, because she was one of the, and I will say this again, the word professional. We all know that the group theatre and the kind of theatre that all of us practice, and that she also practiced, is not really professional in the sense that everybody has a day job, but it is professional in the sense of standards when they are aspired to. And she had that sense of 100% professional giving, high standards, responding to the demands of theatre without compromising or treating it in her head in any way as an amateur activity or a dilettante activity. And I think that Usha De, for her, theatre was the sort of major calling of her life, even though she spent many hours of her life doing other things, including teaching. Um, Also, the thing that I really do admire about Ushadi is that it was a big battle and struggle which she actually succeeded in to establish herself as one of the major figures of the group theatre scene in Calcutta. She was a woman, and if you look around at all the major groups in Calcutta doing group theatre, very, very few of them were headed by women who were actually holding the reins of the group in terms of managing it, in terms of being in charge. She is also non-Bengali. Did Hindi theatre, and she continued to do Hindi theatre. And really, in a city where there are very clear lines drawn between English language theatre, Hindi theatre, and Bengali theatre, hers was one group, Rangakarmi, and one set of uh, performances that people blurred in their minds, thinking it was almost like they were going to see a Bengali play in terms of the audiences that would come, the way it was integrated with the performance schedule at the Academy of Fine Arts and other spaces. The Rangakarmi was very much a Calcutta theatre group along with all the other major groups. And that was something, when I first got to know her, that wasn't taken for granted in quite the same way. And it was something we discussed, the fact that she was trying to establish herself and her group as part of the sort of mainstream Calcutta theatre scenario. And years later, that was absolutely a success story. She had managed to do that. So I think I'll stop here. She was a dynamic presence and will really be missed.